Stop for a moment. This message is not random. It found you on January 23rd, 2026, with exactly 1 week left in this month. And that timing matters more than you think. January is not just the beginning of a calendar year. It is the energetic blueprint of the entire cycle ahead. And what you choose, what you resist, what you release in these final days will echo through the rest of 2026. Right now, there is a subtle but powerful shift happening. The sun has moved firmly into Aquarius, activating themes of clarity, truth, and future vision. Mercury is steady after earlier turbulence, helping thoughts crystallize. The moon is waning, pulling us inward. This is not chaotic energy. It is corrective energy. It is alignment energy. The universe runs on structure and timing, and the final week of any month is a checkpoint. But the final week of January, that is a calibration. If you've been feeling slightly unsettled, slightly introspective, like something is asking you to slow down and reassess, you are not imagining it. Some of you feel like you started 2026 with intention, but now you are questioning whether you aimed in the right direction. Others feel a quiet urgency, like time is already moving faster than expected. And some of you are simply tired. Tired of pushing. Tired of overthinking. Tired of wondering when things will finally click. Angels and ancestors step in during moments like this, not to interfere with your free will, but to illuminate your perspective. They do not shout. They do not rush you. They whisper through synchronicity, through subtle knowing, through that calm inner voice that says, pause, look again. Before we draw the cards, understand this. This phase is not about speed. It is about precision. The universe is not testing how fast you can manifest. It is observing how wisely you choose. This final week of January is asking one question. Are you responding from fear or from alignment? There is something being quietly rearranged in your life. You may not see it yet, but you feel it. A shift in priorities. A recalibration of what matters. This is ancestral guidance activating. Many of you are breaking patterns that have been in your family line for generations. The pressure you feel is not just about 2026. It is about legacy. The energy right now is not chaotic. It is surgical. It is removing distractions. Notice what feels heavy. Notice what feels draining. Notice where your energy leaks. The angels are guiding you toward conservation, not withdrawal, not isolation, conservation, because February carries momentum, and you cannot carry excess into that momentum. This is not the week to prove yourself. This is the week to refine yourself. And if you feel like something is being delayed, understand this clearly. Delay is not denial. Sometimes the universe pauses you because your next move requires a steadier foundation. And patience right now could lead to misalignment. Restraint will lead to power. Your ancestors are not interested in short-term gratification. They are interested in long-term stability. They want you rooted. They want you steady. They want you clear. As we move deeper into this reading, set your intention. Not a desperate intention, not a demanding one, a grounded one. Ask silently, what do I need to understand before January ends? That is enough, because the message that follows is not about prediction. It is about preparation, and preparation is power. Take a breath. The cards are ready. Take a steady breath with me, because before we reveal any messages, we need to talk about who is speaking. Angels and ancestors are not distant myths. They are not abstract symbolism. They represent continuity, structure, lineage, protection, higher oversight. Angels operate from a frequency of divine order. They see the larger design. They understand timing beyond human impatience. Ancestors operate from lived experience. They know the weight of survival. They understand generational cycles. They recognize the patterns you are trying to break because they once lived inside them. When these two forces align in a reading, it means something specific. It means this moment is not random. It means your current decisions are tied to both your future and your past. And as of January 23rd, 2026, you are standing in the middle of that bridge. You may have noticed something recently. Old memories resurfacing, dreams that feel symbolic, encounters that feel strangely timed, emotional reactions that feel bigger than the moment itself. That is ancestral memory activating, not to overwhelm you, to inform you. This final week of January is not about starting something loud. It is about recognizing something subtle. There is wisdom trying to reach you, but it will not compete with noise. That is why slowing down matters right now. The Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck is powerful because it merges higher guidance with grounded survival wisdom. It does not give fantasy. It gives direction. It does not push urgency. It highlights alignment. Before I draw the first card, I want you to do something simple. Set an intention for these last days of January. Not a dramatic one, not a desperate one, a grounded one. Ask quietly inside yourself, what is the one adjustment that would change everything for me this year? And then release the question. Do not force the answer. Let the message come through the cards. Here's what you need to understand about guidance. It does not override your free will. It refines it. Angels will never force. Ancestors will never control. They illuminate. You choose. And right now, the quality being tested is emotional discipline. Some of you want to react. Some of you want to send the message. Make the move. Confront the issue. Prove the point. But the universe is not watching how fast you act. It is watching how well you regulate. This phase isn't about action. It's about restraint. Restraint is not weakness. It is mastery. If something feels like it is pushing your buttons this week, ask yourself why. Not from blame, from curiosity. There's a pattern surfacing, and patterns only surface when they are ready to be broken. Your ancestors understand patterns deeply. They know what it means to repeat cycles out of fear. They also know what it costs to break them. Breaking patterns requires calm strength, not rebellion, not drama. Calm strength. The angels, meanwhile, are highlighting perspective. You may be focusing on what has not happened yet, on what is delayed, on what feels uncertain. But higher guidance is asking you to widen your lens. Look at what has stabilized. Look at what has quietly improved. Look at the subtle shifts in your boundaries. Growth is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like choosing silence instead of argument, choosing rest instead of proving yourself, choosing observation instead of reaction. As we move toward the first card, understand this clearly. The final week of January 2026 is not random space. It is calibration space. The year has begun. The direction has been set, but the refinement is still happening. If you felt slightly pulled inward these last few days, that is not isolation. That is alignment preparation. The angels are encouraging clarity of thought. Mercury's steadying energy right now supports reflection over reaction. The waning moon is pulling energy downward, inward, into the subconscious. This is a perfect window for correction. Correction is not punishment. It is protection. Your ancestors are especially active when you are about to repeat something you have already outgrown. If you feel hesitation this week, pay attention. Hesitation can be intuition, not fear. There is a difference. Fear feels chaotic and urgent. Intuition feels steady and firm. Right now, guidance is firm, not frantic. There is something you do not need to chase, something you do not need to force, something you do not need to prove. The energy of late January is revealing that what is aligned will not require desperation. Let that settle. Many of you are recalibrating relationships, some romantic, some professional, some internal. You are realizing that certain dynamics cannot move forward unless you change how you participate in them. That realization is ancestral healing in motion, because patterns do not just live in families. They live in emotional habits. They live in communication styles. They live in the way you respond when you feel unseen. The angels are guiding you to elevate your response. Not colder, not distant. Elevated. This is maturity season. January began with ambition. It ends with awareness. And awareness is power. Now, as we prepare to reveal the first oracle message, I want you grounded. Shoulders relaxed, breath steady, no urgency, no anxiety, just openness, because whatever card appears first will not be coincidence. It will represent the doorway energy of these final days. And remember, guidance is not about prediction. It is about positioning. You are being positioned carefully right now. The universe runs on structure and timing, and this moment is structured. The first card has been drawn, and it enters this reading with a calm authority. The message is clear. Trust and thrive. The image is steady. A hunter, alert but not anxious, focused but not frantic, present but not tense. And that distinction matters deeply for this final week of January 2026. Trust and thrive is not about blind faith. It is about grounded confidence. It is about remembering that you have already survived seasons you once thought would break you. And now, as January closes, the angels and ancestors are not asking you to hustle harder. They are asking you to trust what you have built. This card arriving on January 23rd is precise timing. The month began with intention, with declarations, with plans. And now, instead of pushing further, the energy shifts toward evaluation. The hunter in this card does not chase recklessly. He observes. He calculates. He moves only when alignment is clear. If you have been feeling restless, this card is your correction. Restlessness right now is not a sign that you are behind. It is a sign that your nervous system is adjusting to a new level of stability. Sometimes when chaos has been familiar, calm can feel uncomfortable. That does not mean something is wrong. It means you are entering a different rhythm. Trust and Thrive speaks directly to those of you who feel like you are waiting for external validation, waiting for confirmation, waiting for the breakthrough. The message is this: stop scanning for proof. Start anchoring in preparedness. You are more prepared than you realize. This final week of January is not about dramatic opportunity. It is about quiet positioning. You are aligning your internal state so that when February momentum begins, you move with clarity instead of confusion. The prophetic insight here is subtle but firm. The universe is watching how you handle stillness. Can you remain composed when nothing urgent is happening? Can you resist the urge to create unnecessary drama just to feel movement? This phase isn't about action. It's about readiness. There is something that wants to enter your life soon. A conversation, a contract, a shift in responsibility. But it requires a steadier version of you. Trust and Thrive is telling you that panic energy will repel it. Composure will attract it. Now let's speak practically. In the next 7 days, you may encounter a situation that tests your confidence. It may be small, a comment, a delayed response, a financial concern, a shift in someone's tone. Your old pattern might be to assume instability, to prepare for loss, to tighten your grip. Do not. The ancestors are stepping in specifically to break scarcity responses. Scarcity is a learned survival behavior. Many of you inherited it. But thriving requires a different posture. Observe before reacting. Clarify before assuming. Wait before concluding. This is the discipline being built. Trust and Thrive also asks you to refine your focus. The hunter does not aim at 10 targets. He chooses one. If you have been spreading your energy across too many goals, this is your signal to simplify. Narrow your field. Concentrate your effort. Depth will outperform distraction in these final days. Some of you are being tested in your self-talk. Notice what narrative plays when something does not go your way immediately. Do you default to self-doubt, or do you adjust and remain steady? The angels are strengthening your internal narrative right now. Replace "what if it fails" with "what if it stabilizes." Replace "why is this delayed" with "what is being refined." The energy of late January is refinement, not rejection. Trust and Thrive is also ancestral reassurance. You are not alone in your building. You are supported by those who endured before you, and they are not urging you to rush. They are urging you to remain calculated. If you feel like you have been moving slowly, understand this. Slow does not mean stagnant. It means deliberate. Deliberate movement compounds power. As January closes, there is one thing to avoid above all else: impulsive decisions born from impatience, especially in finances and communication. The universe is not blocking you. It is asking you to measure twice and cut once. Something quietly aligning right now involves your long-term stability, and stability grows from consistency, not intensity. Let me say this clearly. You do not need to prove yourself in this final week. You need to prepare yourself. The hunter trusts his skill. He does not chase validation. He trusts his timing. And that is your assignment before January ends. Trust your preparation. Trust your restraint. Trust your discernment. Because thriving is not loud, it is steady. And steady wins seasons. Take a breath and let that settle. The first message has positioned you. Now we move deeper. The second card has been revealed, and it steps forward with a quieter but deeper tone. The message is shed old skin. The image is powerful. A serpent in transition, not in danger, not under attack, simply outgrowing what once fit. This is not a coincidence following trust and thrive. The first card anchored your stability. The second card now asks for release. As of January 23rd, 2026, with only days remaining in this opening month, the angels and ancestors are showing you something very specific. You cannot carry January's lessons into February wearing December's identity. Shed old skin is not about dramatic endings. It is about subtle detachment. It is about recognizing that certain reactions, certain insecurities, certain roles you've played are no longer accurate representations of who you are becoming. And if you've been feeling a quiet discomfort lately, this is why. Outgrowing an old version of yourself can feel lonely. It can feel uncertain. It can even feel disorienting, because familiarity, even when limiting, feels safe. Growth feels exposed. Some of you are realizing you no longer want to engage in conversations the same way. You no longer want to tolerate certain dynamics. You no longer want to minimize yourself to maintain peace. That realization is not rebellion. It is evolution. But evolution requires shedding. The prophetic insight here is clear. Something you are holding on to emotionally is already expired. It may be resentment. It may be guilt. It may be an outdated ambition. It may be a relationship dynamic that you've mentally outgrown but haven't energetically released. And here is the key: shedding does not require confrontation. It requires internal decision. The universe is watching how you release, not how you retaliate. This phase isn't about proving you've changed. It's about quietly demonstrating it through different choices. There is an emotional test coming before January closes. It will not be dramatic. It will be subtle. A moment where you could respond the old way or the new way. The old way will feel automatic. The new way will feel intentional. Choose intentional. Shed old skin also connects to your nervous system. Many of you are recalibrating from survival mode into stability mode. But survival habits linger: over-explaining, over-apologizing, overthinking. These behaviors once protected you, but they are not required in this new season. Your ancestors understand survival deeply. They had to endure in ways you may never fully comprehend. But they are not asking you to live as if threat is constant. They are guiding you toward sovereignty. Sovereignty requires calm authority. If you felt triggered this week, pay attention to what the trigger reveals. It is not about the surface issue. It is about the outdated identity that feels threatened. You are not who you were even 6 months ago, but your environment may still respond to you as if you are. That is temporary. Consistency will retrain it. Shed old skin also speaks to practical matters. Clear your space. Simplify your schedule. Finish what you started in early January. Do not carry incomplete energy forward if it can be resolved now. The final week of the month is ideal for closure. And closure does not always mean ending relationships. Sometimes it means ending internal arguments. There's something you need to forgive yourself for. A past decision, a delay, a misjudgment. Release it. You cannot thrive while secretly punishing yourself. Trust and thrive gave you stability. Shed old skin now asks for freedom. And freedom is lighter than you expect. Avoid this in the coming days, revisiting old wounds for the sake of validation. Not everyone will acknowledge your growth. Not everyone will recognize your evolution. That is not your assignment. Your assignment is alignment. What is quietly aligning right now is your self-respect. It is strengthening. It is becoming less negotiable. And that shift will shape the rest of 2026. January is not ending in chaos. It is ending in clarity. You are not losing parts of yourself. You are releasing layers that no longer match your current frequency. Shedding is natural. It is cyclical. It is necessary. And here is something important. Shedding can feel uncomfortable right before expansion. The snake is most vulnerable mid-transition, but it emerges renewed. If you feel exposed, that is temporary. If you feel uncertain, that is transitional. If you feel detached from what once felt essential, that is evolution. This is maturity in motion. You are not required to announce it. You are required to embody it. The angels are reinforcing composure. The ancestors are reinforcing resilience. Together they are saying, you are ready for a lighter version of yourself. Before January ends, release one thing, one habit, one thought pattern, one emotional attachment. Make it intentional, because you cannot step into February carrying unnecessary weight. And what comes next requires mobility. Take a steady breath. 2 messages have now formed a pattern. Trust your strength. Release what no longer fits. Now we move to the final card, the synthesis. The 3rd card has been revealed, and it completes the pattern with unmistakable clarity. The message is take charge with authority. The image is grounded. A leader, not aggressive but composed. Not loud but unmistakably firm. This is not ego energy. This is earned presence. Now feel how the 3 messages align. Trust and thrive anchored your stability. Shed old skin released your outdated identity. And now take charge with authority activates your position. This is not coincidence. This is sequence. As January 23rd turns into the final stretch of the month, the angels and ancestors are not asking you to wait passively. They are asking you to stand differently. Not reactive, not defensive, not seeking permission. Authoritative authority does not mean control over others. It means control over self. Many of you have been shrinking in subtle ways without realizing it, adjusting your tone to avoid conflict, downplaying your needs to keep harmony, second-guessing your instincts to appear agreeable. This final card interrupts that pattern. The prophetic insight is direct. The universe is watching how you hold your posture when pressure arises. You will be given a moment before January ends where your voice matters. It may be in a meeting, in a relationship, in a personal boundary, and you will feel the old instinct to soften your truth. Do not confuse diplomacy with self-erasure. Take charge with authority means speak calmly, speak clearly, and then stop. Do not over-explain. Do not defend unnecessarily. Let your words stand. This phase isn't about dominance. It's about self-governance. There is a quiet leadership rising in you. It may not look like titles or promotions yet. It may look like emotional steadiness. It may look like financial discipline. It may look like refusing to engage in gossip. But make no mistake, leadership is forming. The ancestors are especially strong in this card. They are reminding you that someone in your lineage had to be the strong one, the stable one, the one who made hard choices quietly. That strength runs through you. But now it is being refined from survival strength into strategic strength. Strategic strength is different. It does not react instantly. It observes. It waits. It moves with timing. The energy of late January 2026 is precise. Aquarius season encourages independent thinking. It supports innovation, but it also tests authenticity. Are you leading from confidence or from insecurity masked as control? Authority rooted in insecurity feels loud. Authority rooted in alignment feels calm. In the next 7 days, focus on one area of your life where you need to stand taller. Maybe it is financial structure. Maybe it is personal discipline. Maybe it is communication. Choose one. Do not overwhelm yourself by trying to transform everything at once. Authority grows through consistency, not intensity. Avoid this. Emotional ultimatums, dramatic exits, sudden overcorrections. If you feel the urge to make a sweeping declaration, pause. Authority does not need spectacle. It needs steadiness. Something quietly aligning right now is respect. But respect follows clarity. When you are clear about what you will and will not tolerate, the environment adjusts. Take charge with authority also applies internally. Notice where you negotiate with your own standards, where you delay commitments you made to yourself. The angels are not concerned with how you appear to others. They are focused on how you govern yourself, because the way you close January will set the energetic precedent for February. Trust built your foundation. Shedding created space. Authority now fills that space. And here is the deeper layer. Authority requires solitude at times, not isolation, reflection. If you feel slightly more reserved this week, that is not withdrawal. That is consolidation. You are integrating. The universe is not testing your ambition. It is testing your discipline. Can you choose long-term stability over short-term validation? Can you remain calm when someone attempts to provoke a reaction? Can you say no without guilt? These are leadership markers. You are not being prepared for chaos. You are being prepared for responsibility. Before January ends, there will be an opportunity to demonstrate this. It may feel small, but small demonstrations compound into major shifts. Stand firm, speak clearly, move deliberately. Authority is not loud. It is undeniable. The 3-card message is now complete. But the integration is just beginning, and what you do in these final days will ripple forward. Now we integrate. 3 messages have been revealed. Trust and thrive. Shed old skin. Take charge with authority. These are not separate instructions. They are stages of one transition. And as we stand on January 23rd, 2026, with only days remaining in this foundational month, The universe is not asking for more effort. It is asking for alignment. Integration is where most people lose momentum. They receive insight. They feel inspired. And then they return to autopilot. But this final week of January is not designed for autopilot. It is designed for conscious correction. Look at the pattern clearly. First, stabilize your trust. Second, release outdated identity. Third, stand in authority. This is psychological maturity. This is spiritual structure. This is ancestral evolution in motion. Some of you are feeling a quiet internal shift right now. Not dramatic, not explosive, just steady. A sense that you are no longer willing to betray your own growth for comfort. That is the integration happening. But integration will be tested. Before January ends, you may experience one of three scenarios. The first is a temptation to revert. An old dynamic may resurface. An old conversation may reopen. An old insecurity may whisper. This is not regression. It is confirmation that the pattern is dissolving. The universe will often show you the old door one last time to ensure you no longer want to walk through it. The second scenario is subtle opportunity. Something small but meaningful may present itself. A chance to speak up. A chance to structure your finances differently. A chance to clarify expectations. Do not overlook small openings. February's momentum will amplify whatever foundation you set now. The third scenario is stillness. Nothing dramatic happens, and that will test your patience, because you may interpret quiet as stagnation. But remember what was said earlier. This phase isn't about speed. It's about precision. Stillness can be alignment consolidating. Emotionally, many of you are processing the realization that growth sometimes changes relationships, not because you are better than anyone, but because you are no longer operating from the same wounds. That can create distance. Let it. Forced connection creates resentment. Aligned connection creates stability. Your ancestors are particularly focused on boundaries right now. In previous generations, boundaries were often sacrificed for survival. But your assignment in this timeline is different. You are allowed to protect your energy without guilt. The angels are reinforcing composure. If a situation tries to pull you into urgency, breathe before responding. The universe is watching how you respond, not how fast you move. In practical terms, here is how to navigate the remaining days of January 2026. Simplify. Close open loops. Respond instead of react. Choose one priority and complete it. Avoid starting new major commitments unless they feel undeniably aligned. This is a finishing week, not a launching week. There is also something important happening energetically. The waning lunar phase encourages release. Aquarius season encourages authenticity. Together they create a powerful environment for personal correction. You are being nudged toward honesty with yourself. Not harsh criticism. Honest evaluation. Ask yourself quietly, where have I been performing instead of living? Where have I been tolerating instead of leading? Where have I been hesitating instead of trusting? Do not judge the answers. Just observe. Integration also means embodiment. It is one thing to say you trust. It is another to act from trust. It is one thing to say you've outgrown something. It is another to decline it when it reappears. It is one thing to claim authority. It is another to enforce your boundaries calmly. This week is embodiment training. What is quietly aligning right now is your long-term stability. Not instant gratification, not dramatic breakthrough. Stability, and stability compounds over time. Avoid comparing your January to anyone else's. Social timelines are illusions. Energetic timing is individual. The universe runs on structure and timing, but that structure is personal to your path. If you feel behind, you are not behind. You are being positioned. If you feel uncertain, you are not lost. You are recalibrating. If you feel calmer than usual, do not sabotage it by creating chaos. The energy at the end of January 2026 is mature. It is measured. It is deliberate. And it is asking you to move like someone who knows. They are building something sustainable. Here's a simple affirmation for these final days. Say it slowly in your own time. I trust my preparation. I release what no longer fits. I stand in calm authority. Let those words anchor you. There is no rush. There is no race. There is refinement. And refinement creates resilience. We are not closing this reading yet. There is one final chapter, the sealing of this message. The epilogue that anchors your next move. Because how you end January will echo into February. We now arrive at the closing threshold of this message, and it is not by accident that you are still here. January 23rd, 2026. 1 week remains in the first month of this year. The universe does not rush beginnings, and it does not waste endings. The way you close a cycle determines the integrity of the next one. Let this settle. You are not ending January as the same person who entered it. Something in you has stabilized. Something in you has released. Something in you has strengthened. Trust and thrive reminded you that panic is not power. Shed old skin reminded you that identity is allowed to evolve. Take charge with authority reminded you that leadership begins within. And integration reminded you that embodiment matters more than inspiration. Now we seal it. The final days of January are not loud. They are precise. Think of them as the final adjustments before a structure is reinforced. Small calibrations, quiet decisions, internal commitments. This is where many people lose clarity. They assume if something dramatic has not happened yet, the month was uneventful. But January's purpose is rarely spectacle. January builds foundation, and foundation is invisible until pressure tests it. There is a pressure coming in February, not negative, not chaotic, but active. Momentum will increase. Conversations will accelerate. Opportunities will require quicker decisions. And the steadiness you are building right now will determine how gracefully you handle that speed. So ask yourself honestly, where am I still negotiating with my own growth? Are you still explaining yourself to people who have already shown you they do not understand your direction? Are you still tolerating habits that drain your focus? Are you still waiting for permission to move differently? The angels are not urging rebellion. They are urging refinement. The ancestors are not asking you to disconnect from your roots. They are asking you to elevate them. You are not meant to repeat survival cycles. You are meant to stabilize beyond them. The emotional mirror here is important. Some of you feel proud of subtle changes you've made but hesitate to acknowledge them. Some of you feel slightly disconnected from old environments and are unsure whether that is growth or isolation. Some of you feel calmer but worry that calm means stagnation. It does not. Calm means regulation. Regulation means readiness. Readiness means alignment. This final chapter is about trust and timing. The universe runs on structure and timing. January 2026 is structured as a preparatory month. It is the architect's phase. February will be the builder's phase. March will test endurance. But none of that functions well without the recalibration happening now. Before January ends, do 3 things intentionally. First, choose restraint in one situation where you normally would react. Not silence, restraint. That single act will prove your growth to yourself. Second, release one lingering emotional attachment. Write it down. Acknowledge it. Decide consciously that it no longer governs your reactions. Third, commit to one standard for yourself moving forward. It could be financial discipline. It could be communication clarity. It could be physical consistency. But choose one and honor it. These are small actions. But small actions repeated create authority. What should be avoided right now? Emotional ultimatums, impulsive spending, seeking validation from inconsistent sources, overcommitting out of guilt. January is not the time to prove devotion to others. It is the time to prove devotion to your alignment. What is quietly aligning? Respect, stability, long-term positioning. There is something forming beneath the surface of your life that requires patience. It is not ready to reveal itself yet, and that is intentional. The universe is watching how you handle the quiet before acceleration. And here is something you may not have considered. Your ancestors are not only guiding you, they are learning through you. You are the living extension of their unfinished intentions. The steadiness you cultivate now echoes backward and forward through generations. That is why this matters. Before this month closes, stand somewhere alone for a moment. Even briefly, breathe slowly. Acknowledge that you have survived every year that brought you here, that you have learned, that you have adjusted, that you are not the same. Whisper to yourself, I am positioned, because you are. The next chapter of 2026 will not ask you to scramble. It will ask you to stand. And standing requires grounding. If this message resonated, do not dismiss it as coincidence. Timing is precise. If you are still listening, it is because something within you recognizes the truth of it. As we close, remember this. Growth is not proven in loud moments. It is proven in consistent ones. The final week of January is your consistency test. Hold your composure. Refine your standards. Release what is finished. Lead yourself well. And if you feel this guidance aligning with your spirit, subscribe to Celestial Insight. Stay connected. Share in the comments what you are consciously releasing before January ends. Let this be a community of maturity, not urgency. Because the universe does not reward panic. It rewards alignment. And this moment will make sense later